Kaeyi and welcome to HardwareHeaven. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Corsair M95 mouse. Now this mouse is specifically designed for MMO gamers or for those games that have a lot of skills or buttons that you'll want to specifically bind to your mouse or keyboard. This can help with that because it has 15 user programmable buttons including 9 macro keys. It's also got 8200 DPI gaming sensor with on-the-fly resolution adjustment. So let's take a look at the specs and the back of the box. So on the back we can see that the left and right click buttons rated to 20 million clicks, 9 ergonomically placed side mounted user programmable macro buttons, as well as the 15 individual programmable buttons. There's 48 kilobytes of onboard dynamically managed memory for storing up to 6 on-the-go profiles, as well as the 8200 DPI. So let's open it up and take a look at the mouse itself. Inside the packaging, we get the mouse itself, some information on how to install the drivers. It's pretty much plug and play, and then you download the Vengeance M95 drivers from Corsair.com, and then you've got the warranty guide there as well. First impressions of the mouse itself is pretty good. It's quite heavy, it's got some weight to it, however I do really like that from a mouse. It doesn't feel like it's going to slide or go anywhere unwanted. You've got a lot more control over it. The scroll wheel is great. It's typical of the scroll wheels of any previous Corsair mice. It's very substantial. With every scroll that you do, you can feel a click, which means you're not going to make any mistakes or do anything that you don't want to do. It's then got a button on the middle, 2 buttons on the left hand side with your left and right clicks as normal, and then you've got the 9 programmable thumb buttons here. Normally people would program these from 1 to 9 as your number keys, but you can do these as you wish. If you want them to be shift or control, that's absolutely fine. Then on the bottom we've got the typical, as always, of the Corsair mice, metal finish with the mouse feet along here. I always like these mouse feet. They're really solid, they're always stuck on really well, and they never really come off, and they always seem to give quite a good grip but also a smooth finish as well. We've then got a braided cable here which has got some velcro to keep it secure, and then as always it's just a USB here. By clicking these, they click really well. It's pretty standard, as I said. There's nothing really different to this apart from the DPI is a lot higher. The core design of it is pretty similar to other Corsair mice. The shape is the same. I can't rate the Corsair shape of the mouse any more than I already have. It fits my hand perfectly. I mean, even though I'm a woman, I feel like I do have quite big woman hands, and these always seem to fit really well. I mean, if you have a small man hand or quite a big woman hand, then they would fit well. If you did have a much larger hand, then this might be too small for you, and you might need to find something a little bit bulkier, because it isn't the biggest of mice ergonomically or lengthwise, but it is quite wide, so it still is pretty comfortable. Your hands can fit on it perfectly. You can rest your little finger on this ridge here, which is actually a different finish than that of the top. It's a lot rougher and it's not shiny that you'll be able to see here on the camera, whereas the top is shiny. So you can rest your little finger there perfectly, with the rest of the hand covering the full palm of the mouse. Now I've tested this mouse on a surface which is a kind of hard piece of plastic that you actually stick directly onto your desk. I've also tried it on a traditional foamy mouse pad, both of which work really well. However, my personal preference is a surface because it literally does stick straight onto your desk and it gives it a finish that you want. You can get surfaces that are designed for speed or designed for friction or designed for specific movements, so it has a lot more control. So depending on what you want, you can buy different surfaces. This mouse works great on those, specifically because the way the mouse feet are designed. With the DPI adjustments, you really can control how fast and precise you want the movements. If you're going in for something like a headshot on an FPS game, you really want the DPI to be extremely low so you can make the slightest precise movements. However, if you're playing a fast-paced MMO game, you might want the DPI to be quite high so that you can make really quick movements. That is completely adjustable on this mouse, and you can set various profiles for different games. So if you're wanting an FPS profile and an MMO profile, that's fine, and you can store this on the mouse, which is really great. In regards to the button placement, as I've said, there are 9 buttons here. Now, personally, I prefer buttons that are in the number lines, like you find on the Logitech G600 or the Razer Naga. However, I was really surprised how easy it was to adapt to this style of button placement. For my hands, I have quite large palms but small fingers. Now, I can't actually reach this button here. Now, it's the top button on the Corsair M95. However, the rest of the buttons were placed really well. So I would probably suggest, if you do have smaller fingers, to macro this top button to something that you don't use that much, and then the other buttons to ones that you would use all the time. This does actually feel like a much natural way to place the buttons because you're just moving up and down and side to side, and it's easier to actually get used to it. When I first got my Naga, I thought, oh wow, I'm never going to be able to play any games of this because I can't reach any of the buttons. It just feels really unnatural. This is a much more natural way of getting used to one of these mice. So I would actually recommend purchasing something like the M95 if you are just getting into MMOs and want a mouse with more clickable, macroable buttons. The Razer Naga is definitely something that's more of a challenge to get used to, whereas this definitely feels a lot more comfortable for newer people in the MMO genre. I'm going to give this mouse a recommended because I definitely think it's something you should check out if you are looking for a mouse of this caliber. However, if you are a seasoned MMO veteran and you've been used to something like the Logitech G600 or the Razer Naga, then I probably wouldn't recommend switching because it's going to be quite difficult to adjust. Thank you so much for watching this review. If you've got any questions, please ask in the comment section below and we'll definitely try and answer them. Remember to click that thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Thanks, bye!